Hello everyone. Looks like we're back for part 3 here. We just finished the Desert Palace, and there are a couple more checks for me to make. Namely this mire shed right here, so I'm going to dip in there. This is a good place to check since we're right here. There's also one more place we'll check too. Getting out the mirror so that I can do the little glitch here. This is actually taking more time to do the glitch than it's worth, but whatever. Okay, and the bow. Perfect. That is a required item. You need that to beat the game, and you definitely need it to beat Pod, but by itself it doesn't actually open anything up. So we're going to have to keep looking. There's also the checkerboard cave right here, so we're going to go take a look and see what's in here as well. And then we're done with this general area. The ice rod. Okay, this is another required item. The ice rod is one of those problem items because the only thing it's required for is beating Trinex and Turtle Rock. So it could be almost anywhere except for Ganon's Tower or on Trinex himself. So I'm really glad to see it. Right now, though, because it only beats Trinex and I don't have the Cane of Samaria, I'm just going to have to go to Kakariko Village and check what the sick kid has. I have a bottle now, so let's see what he has for us. The Cane of Samaria. Okay, things really got much better for us really fast. We still don't have anything new to check, because I can't get into Misery Mire, I don't have the right pendant. Turtle Rock I can't get into because I don't have the hammer. So I really had to think for a second here, and I decided, okay, let's go into Thieves Town. This is actually the only dungeon that we can complete right now. To beat Pod, we'd need the hammer as well. We can't get in the Swamp Palace because we need the flippers for that, and the hookshot. And, like I mentioned, we can't do Ice Palace because we also need the hammer for that too. And, technically the flippers. And Misery Mire, so this is really it. There are 4 chests in the opening of Thieves Town. The big key will be in one of them. Half magic. Great thing to have, not required, but, you know, it gives you that extra little oomph. So there are 4 items in Thieves Town. One of them may be locked behind the hammer. We'll see where we... Oh, speaking of the hammer. Well, now I feel really dumb for not doing, Thieves Town earlier, because if I had, I would have gotten that hammer and it would have opened up a lot of things to me. On the other hand, maybe this is a good thing that I didn't do it till later. Oh, I got hit by a bunny beam there. Okay, 2 more chests in this front area. And we have, in the 3rd chest, the Ether Pendant, Ether Medallion. That may be required. I don't know. And the big key, we knew it had to be the last chest here because there's no other place for it to be. So, the medallions are a tough one because depending on the seed, you might need 1, 2, 3, or even no medallions. If Turtle Rock and Misery Mire are pendants, you may not need a medallion at all. Sometimes you might need Bombos because it is one of the ways to get into Ice Palace and to beat Cold Stare. So the medallions are good to have. We do know that Quake is required for Misery Mire, so if Turtle Rock is Ether, then that would be fantastic for us. I gotta navigate through this. This room is called the Hellway because it can be really tough to get through. If you line it up right with the boots, you can dash through the entire room without taking any damage, but that requires some really precise positioning. I'm going up here without hitting the thing, the switch, because there's a hint tile that you can only get to that way. Quake requires the hammer. Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. There's only so many places that are hammer locked, but it is most of the places left in the game. Having that hammer does open up a good amount to us. Now we can actually complete Ice Palace, we can complete Pod, we can not do anything in Swamp Palace, but it does mean that there are a couple more dungeons for us to check. Unfortunately, there are pendants. If Ether medallions required for Turtle Rock, we can actually complete Turtle Rock. So that'd be nice. But right now we're focusing on Thieves Town. We're going to beat Blind. So I had to go all the way up to open that. And now we're going to go rescue the maiden. So we got pretty lucky with Thieves Town. And we found 3 of the 4 items in the first 4 chests. So there's even a chance that the hammer wasn't required for Thieves Town. And again, I feel pretty silly about not going in here, but it was a routing decision that I took, and well, I don't know if it would have sped me up. Alright, so now, for those of you who aren't aware, you just go down here, you have to rescue the maiden in the cells to the right. And then we have to take her into that little light column. The blind fight is interesting because if you do it right, it is an entirely scripted fight. It will always perform exactly the same way. I am not good enough at the script to make it so that I will take no damage, and it's probably going to be a near-run thing. Thankfully, I have the blue mail, and a bunch of hearts, so I should be okay. Blind, it doesn't even matter what sword you have. He takes 3 hits, then he drops, then he takes 3 more hits, then he drops again, then he takes 3 more hits and he's dead. So 9 hits total, regardless of the weapon. You can beat him with the Cane of Burna, you can beat him with the Cane of Samaria for kicks, you can beat him with the hammer. There's a lot of options. I'm just going to use the sword. Oh, and he always gives a pun. Yes, a novice skier does often jump to contusions. Alright, so the first part of the fight went fairly well. That's about as good as you could hope, and I've already messed up. Okay. 2 hits, 3 hits, just 3 more hits to go, and I win. 1. Oof. Oof. 2. Okay, 1 more hit. Okay. Oh, I gotta stop doing this. Alright, that is our 4th crystal. And we could actually pick up a 5th one because we have all the items we need to beat Pod. But we're not going to do that right now. We're going to go, there's a few more checks. The hammer has allowed us to check the hammer pegs, which are right over here. And I'm going to do something that is only in the 1.0 version of the game, called an item dash. If you hit the item button and the dash at the same time, you do that. It's fun. Alright, trying to line it up. I'm just getting fancy. But I really love the item dash. Especially with the hammer pegs like that. And down here we have bombs. Okay. So now, at this point, I'm just figuring out what to do. The hammer is also really great to see because now that lets us get to all of East Death Mountain and Dark Death Mountain, as well as it allows us access into Turtle Rock. So that should be our next place. However, you'll notice that I am going south. And you may be thinking, what is he doing? There's nothing for him here. I mean, he saw that hint earlier. That hint told him that the big red bomb just gives us nothing useful. So why is he doing this? Well, this game is long, and when you do this over multiple sessions like this, you end up making mistakes. And so here we go. I'm getting the big red bomb, and I will remember too late that it was pointless. Okay, so here we go. Luckily, because I beat Aga, I can make this a little faster. And then I realized, oh no, I made a mistake. But I have a trick. I have a way to get around this. Okay, and there we go. Okay, if you screen transition just as the bomb is exploding like that, it will actually cause the bomb to just appear behind you. So I managed to rescue myself there at the very last second. And because Aghanim's dead, we just take that Dark World portal right there, and I can drop the bomb off. And here I get the prize that everyone who saw the earlier parts knows it is, a bottle and a piece of heart container. And I think this is the point where I realized, oh right, I had it in my notes. Well, no harm, no foul, and the extra heart container isn't terrible per se, plus the red potion is handy, especially given the amount of times that I tend to get hit. So, not a total wash. Now, we're going up to Death Mountain. And we're going to try to avoid the dead rocks. These things are so annoying. I do not have the hook shot, so I can't cross over this way. But I do have the hammer, so I'll go up to the Tower of Hera area, and then go to the right, hit the hammer pegs, and I'll be in East Death Mountain. There are a ton of checks there. There is the Spiral Cave, there is Paradox Cave, there's a bunch of items on the Dark Death Mountain, there's the Floating Island, there's Hookshot Cave, which, not technically in logic, since I have the boots, I can actually get one item in Hookshot Cave. So, right now, to be in go mode, oh yes, and there's also the Ether Tablet over here, and since I have the book, I'll read that. And behind it we have the red mail. Well, I guess we're all cowards here. And where was I going with that? Well, there's a whole bunch of checks here. So I'm going to dash through, hit the hammer, avoid the dead rocks, and we'll check to see what's up on this island here. Blue potion, not worth it. So I'm going to dip down into Spiral Cave. I have the boots, so we'll just dash through this. Yeah, so go mode items, that's what we're looking for right now. We have everything to beat Turtle Rock, and Pod. Well, potentially, if Ether is Turtle Rock. But we have all the items otherwise. So we're looking for the Turtle Rock Medallion, the Flippers, which we just found, so take that off the list. Now all we need is the Hookshot and whatever item for Turtle Rock. Alright, so we're going to make our way into Paradox Cave now. And it is called that because, let's see if you spot it. Okay, we're going to go here. Alright, here we are. We are at the upper area. And we're going to blow open this hole here. And if you climb upstairs and leave that way, you are in the lower area. So it is a paradox. Okay, a little bit of love there. This is a very healthy seed with red mail and all these hearts, plus silver arrows. This Ganon fight should be fairly easy for us when we eventually get there. I'm just checking my map right now to figure out what I need and fix the tracker again, because I'm having quite a few issues with it. But now that we are syncing up again, alright, I'm going to go in here and check. There's 5 items here. The Paradox Cave has 7 items to check, and that is fantastic. So we have heart piece, green 5 rupees. Oh boy. Another 5 rupees. And the hook shot. Okay. So now we only need the Turtle Rock Medallion, whatever it is. If we go up there now and check the Turtle Rock area, and it requires Ether, we're in go mode. Which means no more checking chests, no more doing anything else. Okay, I'm trying to do a bomb jump here, and I mess it up. So you see, I've fell down there. So I'm not going to try the bomb jump again. I'm just going to go down, I will practice these so in future runs you'll be able to see the bomb jumps. They're really fun when you pull them off. But yes, I'll go down into this lower entrance here. And that puts me up above. That's why it's Paradox Cave. So yes, right now I am making my way over to Turtle Rock to see what medallion they need. If it's Ether, we're go mode. We're just going to go through the dungeons as quick as possible. We can ignore all items because we have everything we need to beat the game. But first, there's a little puzzle for us. If you mess this up, you have to leave the screen and come back. But you go, yes, in that order, to create the portal. And here we go. Drum roll. It's Ether! Alright, we are officially in go mode. And there we go. I've turned on the go mode light. So at this point, the randomizer portion of this run has ended. We are now just trying to execute this and finish things off. So go mode does speed things up in a lot of dungeons. It means that you can avoid items. If you know how many keys you need, you can just skip right ahead. Go mode Turtle Rock is not really that much faster because it all depends on where the big key is located. If the big key is in the first few chests here, you can just kind of steal a key from one of the other locations and go through. But if the big key is in the vanilla location for it, you basically have to do all of Turtle Rock. So we'll see how things work out here. Pod, we've already mostly cleared out. We just need to find a big key and one small key, which I believe are probably in the Bolok section that we had to skip earlier. So that works out really well. It means that it's a straight shot from there to the boss. But go mode Swamp Palace is a thing of beauty. That is probably one of the fastest dungeons, so that'll be a real treat to show off. Until then, we're still in Turtle Rock, which is not a super fun dungeon. Here, that is an abuse. While you are hookshotting like that, you actually have invincibility. Oh, hey, there's our first shield finally. We're like an hour and 20 minutes into this, and we finally got a shield. But because you're invincible while the hookshot is flying out like that, you can do things like that. Oh, I just get rolled over by a giant spike wheel. It doesn't hurt me at all. So, there's not too much to say about Turtle Rock right now, especially because we have everything we need. Well, not technically. Turtle Rock requires some things to complete it, some items to complete it. Oh, watch out for these chain chomps. They really hurt. Manage to avoid them. Do a little trick there to get the chest, which I need to open this chest because it is required. It holds a small key. That's the only thing it could have. Alright, going further in. I wish I had the power. Not power. I do have the power. But I also wish I had the powder, because that would allow me to turn these anti-fairies into actual fairies, which would be great for when I am low on health later on. Because I will be low on health. I have to go through Laser Bridge. Potentially. If I'm lucky, I don't have to go through Laser Bridge, but at this point, I think it's actually required because I haven't found the big key yet. But Laser Bridge actually has its own logic. You need to have either the cape, the mirror shield, or the Cane of Burna, the blue cane, in order for all the items on it to be in logic. So technically you could end up in a situation where Turtle Rock is completable with all the items you have, but it's not actually in logic. And if that's the case here, I'm not going to let logic stop me. I'm just going to complete Turtle Rock. It does mean that the cape or the Cane of Burna is somewhere that we could reach, which is interesting, but we don't need those items, and I'm not going to look for them. I do happen to have, all the races are generated, you have the option of having a spoiler, and I do have a link to that seed, so I'll post it afterwards, and we can take a look and see what secrets were hidden, where some items were. So right now I'm trying to get through here. If there is a small key in the coming room, I'm good. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go back to the big key chest and look kind of silly. Yeah, okay. Trying to get fancy again and failing. Oof. Oh boy, this is embarrassing. But I'll get there eventually. There we go. Okay, is this a... No, it's not. Alright, well, time to make our way back to the entrance here because I have to go through and get the small key, which is hidden in the big key chest. So it turns out that Go Mode Turtle Rock is basically going to probably be full clear. It depends on where the small key is on Laser Bridge, but there's gonna be a small key on Laser Bridge. Alright, trying to find a way to not have to go through that room, but I have to go through that room. So that'll be a quick jaunt out. Thankfully I get to avoid Mimic Cave. I have seen some seeds that have been supremely annoying, where someone has to go into Turtle Rock to get an item which will lead them to the mirror, which will allow them to go back into Turtle Rock to then go to Mimic Cave to get an item that they require to complete another dungeon to get the Ice Rod so that they can go back to Turtle Rock and beat Trinex. This seed, I will say right now, has actually been fairly kind, because we're already in Go mode, and we haven't even needed to go into any of the pendant dungeons. We did get all the items in Eastern Palace, but... Okay, I'm just going to do this, apparently. We did get all the items in Eastern Palace, but none of them were actually required. The only item we found in Eastern Palace really was the flute, and the flute actually wasn't necessary since we found the book, which would let us get into Desert Palace. And actually, that's a lie. We did need the flute because Checkerboard Cave you need the flute to get into. Okay, so there was one pendant dungeon which we had to dip. Thankfully, it was the simplest one. Since I'm not super confident in this area, I'm going to take the quote-unquote safety exit. I'm going to bomb open this wall here, exit the dungeon. That way, if I die in the dungeon on Laser Bridge, I'll just be able to come back in at this entrance, which will save me a little bit of time. So, because I don't actually have an invincibility item, I have to kind of do Laser Bridge this way, and it is a pain. I mean, there is a way to dash through as well, because the lasers that they're shooting out, actually, their hitbox is only at the front end of the laser. So, you can kind of dodge them, but kind of like that. Okay, mushroom. Fetch quests, but I don't need to complete it. So you can kind of dodge them, but it sure is difficult. Okay, there's our key. So now we can finish Turtle Rock, and also I died on purpose there. At least that's what I'm going to tell you all. I'm actually kind of shocked that it took this long for me to catch a death, especially given how some of these fights have gone. Okay, just need to get through this last room, and then we will go fight Trinex. Trinex with the gold sword is a fairly easy fight. Another little tidbit is that you cannot change items while there are explosions on the screen. So, if you do some quick menuing, you can kill Trinex in and you have the gold sword, it's easiest with the gold sword, you can kill Trinex before its head actually shoots out, the main head. That's probably not going to happen here. Alright, here we are, Trinex. Alright, this is the whole reason why the Ice Rod is required. You have to use the Ice Rod on that head. That's the only thing that'll work. Oops, messed up. Takes 3 hits to kill a head once you disable it like that. Because it was exploding, that's why I didn't switch to the Fire Rod, because I couldn't get to the menu. Oop, got hit by the head. That's a lot of damage. But, there we go. That's both heads. Now if you do this right, you charge up your sword like that, and the second the shell disappears, you let loose, you can get a double spin on him. Which I didn't quite do. I'm really low in health, but I had the gold sword, so this was a pretty easy fight. And that is it for Trinex. So at this point, I don't have a whole lot left. All I have to do is beat Pod, Swamp Palace, then go up to Ganon's Tower, which will have a fun game when I get the 7th crystal, and then from there, beat the game. Because Go Mode Swamp Palace is so quick though, I'm gonna go and beat Palace of Darkness first. Again, that because I cleared it out mostly already, it's still going to be fairly quick, but it's not as quick as Go Mode Swamp Palace. And I'll just save that one for last. So, gonna flute to 5 over here. Having the hammer just makes everything so much easier. I hate having it to be like almost our Go Mode item. Although technically our Go Mode item this run was the hookshot. There is a particularly difficult glitch to do called hovering. It's pretty much frame perfect, and hold on, I'm gonna get hit by this murder dactyl a bunch apparently. Wait for it to come back. There, it's gone. So if you can hover, you can get over a lot of small gaps, but including the bridge, the top of Ganon's Tower, you can skip the Moldorm 2 fight, but you cannot hover over the cliff in Swamp Palace. You have to hookshot over it. That is the only reason the hookshot's required. I've seen some of the best runners, when they see that Crystal Swamp Palace, they just get sad. Alright, so this is the section of Pod that we did not go in last time. We are going to dip down. We need the bow because of the Cyclops here. Now that we actually have a potion, we could just glitch it, but we also have the bow, so there's no reason to glitch it. That wastes a potion. And we'll probably look at how many times I'm getting hit. I'm definitely going to need that potion. Luckily, because we have the silver arrows, everything dies in one hit, so kill those guys, mess up this. Okay, there we go. And now we're going to go up north. So there's 2 chests in this area. One of them has to be the big key, because we haven't found it yet. And the other, hopefully, is a small key. Alright, there's our big key. Now, we still need 1 small key in order to get to the boss. So hopefully this is it. If not, then we have to go all the way back to the big key chest. And it is a small key. Okay, great. This is a fantastic location, because now we just hit these little hammer guys right here, jump down, and we can go to the boss. And since we have the Cane of Samaria, we can also do a fun little trick here. We don't have to drag that statue over. We can just put a block here, or put a block there, yeah, and go through to the next room. So again, here's another room where you need to have the bow. And this is almost entirely why the bow is required for... Oh boy, I'm really having trouble. This is entirely why the bow is required for Palace of Darkness. He isn't required for the boss or anything. Also, this statue right here, you need to hit it with an arrow so that you get to this cutscene, which takes a long time. But now that's all clear, we're going to be making our way to the boss. The Helmosaur King, he requires a bunch of hammer hits to break his shell, but then at that point he's vulnerable, and since I have the silver arrows, it only takes one silver arrow to kill him, so that's what I'll try to do. These turtles are annoying. I don't know why there are no turtles in Turtle Rock, but there are turtles in Palace of Darkness. I guess the developers were having fun. Alright, we're full on health. We have half magic, we have silver arrows, red mail, gold sword. I think this should be a fairly simple fight. But then again, I've almost died like 8 times this run, so you never know. Alright, here we go. Just gonna hit him a few times with the hammer. The reason I'm sticking the sword out is because it kind of gives me a little bit of defense. Alright, almost done with the... There we go. Switch to the bow, and all I have to do is hit him with one arrow in the green gem. Come on. Alright, and he's dead. Not too bad. Alright, at this point we have 6 crystals. 1 more crystal remains before the end, but I'm going to save that for next time. So next time we're just going to run through Swamp Palace really fast, go up to Ganon's Tower, and we're going to beat the Big himself. So we'll get this scene done, and I will see you all next time.